This is Shena Hutcherson here at UNC Greensboro, and today I'm going to talk about a study looking at fitness, cognition, and functional connectivity in monozygotic twins from the Human Connectome Project. Some important background for this study is that we know physical activity or exercise can improve overall fitness, whether by increasing muscle strength or boosting your endurance. And we also know that higher fitness levels are related to certain aspects of cognition, such as better executive function, working memory, or attention. Exercise and physical activity changes the way the brain is organized, and these changes may explain these changes in cognition. However, fitness also has a heritable component, which presents a challenge to parse out what is driven by genetic factors versus the behaviors that we engage in. So, with this in mind, the driving research question of this study was, can we estimate the isolated effects of these fitness related behaviors on the brain's functional organization that's important for cognition? Studies of identical twins are a really powerful way of isolating unique environmental factors. Using data from the Human Connectome Project, which includes a large range of behavioral and neuroimaging data, we focused on three types of measures. For each participant, we computed a composite score of fitness based on endurance, strength, and gait speed, as well as had 7 tests comprising different domains of cognition. Third, we had 1 hour of functional magnetic resonance imaging at rest, which allowed us to compute the resting state functional connectivity as a measure of the organization of their brain. Then, using a standard parcellation, we were able to divide their brain into networks. So from 84 identical twin pairs, we identified 42 twin pairs that had the greatest difference in fitness. A multivariate analysis was used to determine if there was some pattern of differences in resting state functional connectivity that predicted differences in cognition between these twins that were discordant on fitness. Bootstrap ratios, which we can think of as z-scores, allowed us to identify which networks were important or contributed to these differences in cognition. And what we found was that there was a pattern of connectivity that predicted cognition. So in this matrix of 12 commonly studied networks repeated on the x and y axis, where connections in red contributed the most in predicting cognition. From this, we can see stronger connectivity within and between the secondary visual and posterior multimodal network, as well as between the secondary visual and somatomotor network. These networks were most important. So, what did this mean for cognition? Each of these bar graphs represent a different cognitive test, while the y-axis is its correlation to this pattern of connectivity. What this meant was that stronger functional connectivity of these networks we discussed contributed to higher scores on the card sort, flanker, and pattern comparison test in the higher fit twin, where these are important for executive function, inhibition, and processing speed. At the same time, it predicted lower scores on the picture vocabulary test in the fit twin, where this is important for language comprehension. Thus, in conclusion, independent of genetic factors, which was possible by looking at identical twins, it appears that these fitness-related behaviors that led one twin to be more fit than the other actually changed the resting state functional connectivity that gave rise to these specific types of cognition. And specifically, coupling or stronger functional connectivity of visual and spatial processing networks and the somatomotor network predicted worse language comprehension and better executive function and processing speed in the fitter twin. Lastly, future studies that take a longitudinal approach can help inform us on how changes in resting state functional connectivity as a result of a long-term exercise intervention mediate these changes in cognition. So that's all I have, and thanks for listening.